You ever notice how your charger suddenly got way smaller? Like one day there are these big clunky wall bricks, and now they're so light you could lose one in your pocket lint? That's not a coincidence. It's because of this new material called GaN, short for gallium nitride. And sure, you might have seen small chargers before, like those tiny 5-watt cubes that came with old iPhones. Remember having to charge your phone 2 or 3 times a day, or even having to hot swap batteries? Or worse, having to leave your phone behind to be plugged into the wall for hours. All because those little bricks couldn't keep up? Yeah, they were small, but they were also very underpowered. Enough to maintain a battery, but not actually charge it quickly. But this thing? That thing pushes 30 watts. 6 times the power in basically the same footprint. Now, you don't actually need to know anything about electricity. All you need to know is more watts means more energy, which also means you have to deal with more heat, which is a much bigger engineering challenge. That's why making something this powerful, this small, isn't just cute. It's the first real improvement we've had in chargers in years. You see, back in the day, chargers were basically just mini transformers. Heavy, humming, and always warm, like they were trying to toast your wall. Then tech got smarter, charging got faster, and somehow the bricks just kept getting bigger. It looked like we were moving backwards until GaN showed up. No, GaN, not gangs. GaN, short for gallium nitride, isn't here to start a turf war. It's here to end one, between power and heat. Because for the first time, we can make chargers that are much smaller, much cooler, and faster, all at once. I first noticed this when I bought a new phone charger and it looked suspiciously small. Like, this possibly can't work small. But that's when I charged my phone crazy fast, but it only got warm and just worked. Then I started wondering, how can something this tiny handle that much power? Well, to explain that, first you need to understand what is GaN anyways. If you didn't already know, GaN is a semiconductor, kind of like silicon, but it moves electricity way more efficiently. Kind of like upgrading from a gravel road to a freshly paved racetrack. Same car, same driver, but everything just flows way more smoothly. And because GaN wastes far less energy as heat, engineers don't need as much space for cooling or bulky components. That's why GaN chargers can be way smaller while pushing more power without burning your wall socket. For decades, almost every piece of electronics from phones, computers, solar panels have been built on silicon. It's cheap, it's stable, and well understood. But we've nearly reached its physical limits. You can only shrink silicon so much before it starts breaking down. That's where GaN comes in. Not to replace silicon entirely, but to take over the power side of things. It handles higher voltages, switches faster, and wastes way less energy as heat. In other words, it's what silicon wishes it could be. At least when it comes to handling power. A lot of engineers see GaN as the next big step in power electronics. The material that's quietly replacing silicon in chargers, data centers, electric vehicles, and even satellites. Now, to be clear, GaN isn't replacing silicon in processors. Your CPU, GPU, and phone chips still all run on silicon. What GaN is changing is everything around them, the power components that feed them energy more efficiently. For decades, progress in tech followed Moore's law, the idea that computer chips double in power every couple of years as transistors kept getting smaller. But those transistors are now so tiny that shrinking them further doesn't automatically make them faster. Electrons start leaking through, and heat becomes the real limit. GaN doesn't make processors faster, but it helps them run more efficiently by improving how power gets delivered. It's a different kind of progress. Not about making chips smaller, but making the entire system smarter on how it uses energy. To put this in perspective, early MacBook Pro chargers, those big white MagSafe bricks, could only push about 60 to 85 watts. They ran hot, felt heavy, and somehow always managed to fall out of the wall at the worst time. But this is what a comparable charger looks like today. A tiny 65-watt GaN charger is small enough to lose in your backpack, but powerful enough to charge those old MacBooks. And this one is about the size of 4 old MacBook bricks glued together. It's still a desktop charger, so it's not something you would toss in your pocket or even in your bag. But for this size, it can output 500 watts, which is wild. The kind of energy a full-size refrigerator pulls to keep everything cold. Except, this one isn't cooling your groceries, it's quietly charging 5 MacBooks at once, while running cooler and quieter than those other ones did. Now, GaN started in chargers, but it's quickly becoming the backbone of modern power tech, showing up in electric vehicles, data centers, and even satellites. It's not even about making things smaller for the sake of it. It's about getting more from less. More power, less waste, less space. And that's the real story here. GaN isn't the reason your charger just got smaller, it's the quiet revolution happening inside almost everything you plug in. You don't notice revolutions like this when they happen. Until one day the tech in your hands feels lighter, cooler, and you can't quite remember when it ever changed.